everyone. I am so excited today to have as our guest on Stream Out Spotlights, Yasaman Vrd'dhi, all the way from Westminster, Maryland. Hi, Yasaman.
Hi.
How are you?
Great. I'm
So
great.
So happy to have you in this series. I'm glad you applied because I saw your application and you're a very interesting person.
Oh, thank you.
More about you. I want to know more about what prompted you to apply and know more about what you do. So I'm going to start right off the bat asking you. I see from your application that you have all kinds of dance background. That is not just belly dance. Can you hear how you started your whole dance journey? What type of dances you've done and and what brought you all the way to where you are now?
Actually, I started dance around the age of 8 in modern dance. This is something that I heard from my mother. Actually, it's funny. When she was in school, she had a teacher who wasn't. She was like a gym teacher, and she did another class. But she would get the children involved in the school by doing modern dance. So they would dance with veils and things. And this woman was a plus size woman, which also piqued my interest. And she could jump and do all these different moves and things, and nothing was limited to her. I heard about this from my mother when I was young, and I wanted to see a thing about modern dance as well. So I got involved in that for a few years. And then I was also involved in martial arts. I have been involved in that for a long time. So that helps your movement vocabulary as well. And then when I was around 12, I started with my Native American dance, which is my native dance. My father actually introduced me to it. And that's a lot of, stomping and foot movements and spiritual inclination there. And then I learned about my history, my family history, and my grandfather on my father's side is from India. And I was interested in that culture. So actually, when I was in the library studying up on these things, I came across a DVD in the library of Zena and Nina, the twin belly dancers.
Yeah.
And they were covered. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I took it home, took it out of the library, and that was it. That was, I found Middle Eastern dance, and it was related to me through blood. And then I started doing that. And then I started with Turkish cabaret because I watched all these previews on the DVD, and it was so exciting, and she was moving so fast. And I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And I got involved in that style specifically. Then I started looking into other styles of dance, belly dance. And Egyptian, then I saw American Cab, and then ATS, and then Tribal Fusion. And I'm a goth girl. Like when I was a teenager, I knew I was a goth girl. I had my black makeup and my black lace on and things like that. But then I saw hip hop fusion, and then I saw a goth fusion. I was like, oh my God, they have something for everyone in belly dance, And I started fusing these things together. I would learn the style, and then I would fuse it together because I'm a mixed girl myself. So my dance is similar to me as a person. And that's how I got started in belly dance, from that one thing, and then dance because of my family. And it's a very big part of my life. And I like to fuse because it's who I am as a person too. And a lot of people aren't always, agreeable that, fusing belly dance with other dance styles. They don't always all agree on that. But, I think each person are who they should be who you want to be. Do things the way you want to do things for you. It's not hurting anyone if you express yourself, with who you are. So that's my understanding of dance and being one with yourself with it, And that's why I fuse dance together. So I take my modern dance now with my background in martial arts, and then the belly dance that I have learned over the years. And then I create. Now I like to improv. I do it on stage. I listen to my music, and then I dance it live for whoever's watching, So that's why my background's so versatile, because I'm always interested in so many different things, and I do so many different things that my dance is not, allergic to that, so to speak.
Well, I appreciate what you said about fusion, because I believe personally that someone who is able to put a dance together and just pull from different sources, That is where the creativity is. There's no creativity if you're sticking to the rules so much that you're boxed. I mean, it's beautiful to see something in its pure form, but there's nothing pure anymore. And I think it shows. I mean, like, whoever told a painter you can't use your brushstroke this way because it's supposed to be this way? It doesn't make sense, right? Like, how can you tell a sculptor that he should be making the nose a certain way on a head if he sees it differently? So I'm totally on board with you. Like, art has no limits, and it's all about imagination and creation and coming up with something fresh and new. So you go, girl. You just keep fusing. I'm totally I'm with you. It's important to know the difference between styles. I do believe it's important to know where you're pulling from and where the origins of the different dances. But at the same time, is it really imperative? I'm not quite sure, right? So you make a beautiful dance with wherever you're playing it from, right? So Yasaman, you're a very inspiring person because I see that you've created a huge event. You have a convention that you could do, and can you tell me and the listeners, people watching this, how long have you been doing this, and what prompted you to? What's the name of the convention?
The convention is called DCBA Dance and Acceptance. It came about years and years in the making because I'm a curvy woman and considered plus size, and I've had a YouTube channel for a long time now, and I would put up my videos. I'm very much into recording when I perform, and then putting my videos live for the public to see. It also helps me as a dancer to advance, watching myself and then critiquing myself, and then listening and seeing what people like and don't like, Mm-hmm. And I would get messages from young girls and boys, and they would say, thank you for putting this video up, thank you for dancing, because I'm also plus size. And this one girl really touched me when she sent me a message on YouTube, and she said that she was in school, she was around 13 years old, and they had a show to do, and she wanted to do belly dance as her, part of the show. And people were telling her she was too fat to dance. You shouldn't do it because you're too heavy. How are you going to tell a 13-year-old something like that, especially a young girl? And she said, well, thank you for putting it up, because I'm happy to see someone else out there that's like me, that they're doing what they want to do. And she said, you're an inspiration to me, and I thank you so much. And that video that I put up at the time, as a dancer, I was critiquing it like, this dance is not that great. I could have done better. I'm critiquing myself, but here's a 13-year-old girl who I'm having an impression on, and it's making her believe in herself. And I messaged her back and told her that believe in you, do what you believe in. Don't listen to negativity and what people are telling you what you can and can't do because you look this way or look that way or need to fit what society tells you. So that helped me bring about making my convention, because I've been around in belly dance conventions, and they all say they welcome everyone, but when you get to these conventions, you don't always feel that. You don't always feel welcome because of who you are, or your size, or your creed, your background. And that's what made me want to do it. And I started with smaller events. I made haflas. I had this Halloween event where, I would say every dancer of every size is welcome here, no matter your style, no matter your background, no matter your handicaps, whatever. And that was way back in like 2007 when I started that. That was called Dark Shimmys, and I still have that periodically. And then I decided to do an event in Michigan with another dancer. Didn't really have one around. Acceptance of all body types, of people, no matter what your creed, background, shape, size, afflictions, whatever. I wanted everyone to come together and use dance as a creative source to give you confidence in yourself, to show people that you can do whatever another person can do, no matter what that is. So using dance and body acceptance and self-acceptance, the convention came together, and it started small. Now we have a hotel at the Delta by Marriott, in Hunt Valley and Maryland. And I'm very excited and happy for it because it's grown. I have people in my party that believe in the mission. We host really good dancers. Like this year, we have Danielle Avius from Pennsylvania, who's now lives in San Diego. We've had Edna, who's the hip hop belly dancer. We've hosted her, and we have plenty of big names in the future to host. And we're bringing all kinds of dance together. Our idea is to bring ballet, modern dance, hip hop, belly dance, every type of dance style together under one roof.
Wow.
Yep, that's our whole idea. That's what we're building up to. We started with just belly dances, but we're building up outside of that market to also integrate belly dance with those other dance styles so that people realize that it can be with those dance styles. It's not just on its own. It should be with the rest of them. So that's what the whole idea of the convention is. It's a big...
I love it. I love it. I love everything about it. I love everything you're saying about this. This is just absolutely beautiful. I totally get the vision and I totally get the mission.
Yeah, I'm glad I want people to really know about it and to everyone to come from all over. Mm-hmm. We've had people from Norwegian. We've had people from Switzerland already come to the event. And that's what we want. We want people from all over the world to come and enjoy it. I know it's in Maryland and we're a smaller state, but we welcome
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you are, right? People will come. When you have something that is valuable for people where they see a benefit to them, they'll go to it. It doesn't matter if it's a tiny little town. It doesn't matter if it's a big city. It doesn't matter. So how many years have you been running this?
It's actually, the convention happens every July. This is the 4th year.
Okay.
Year.
When in July?
This year is July 14th through the 16th. Okay. We generally try to keep it the 2nd to 3rd weekend in July every year.
Okay. So if people want to know, because I know this probably won't be out, this interview won't be out until this year's has just passed, but I'm sure we all have information pretty quickly about the following year so people can see that.
We have the dates for next year already.
So what are the dates for 2018?
For 2018, the dates are the 13th through the 15th of July.
And that will be where exactly in Maryland?
It will be, it's 245 Shawan Road. It's Delta by Marriott, Hunt Valley Hotel.
And is that in Westminster?
No, actually, that's Hunt Valley. That's the city.
Oh, that is the city. Okay, I'm not familiar with the area, so, okay, Hunt Valley, so it's good to know. So people are watching. You can book your flights now because...
Book your flights now. You can go to the website. It's www.dangerouscurvesconvention.com.
I love the name.
Yeah,
I love it. You're so creative. I love it. I love it. This is, I really, I appreciate what you've been sharing about, being accepting of all the dance styles as well as all body shapes and backgrounds and all that. I am so much behind all that. I just love that that mission you have. So you said you were bullied. Was this only in the dancing, or did that happen outside of the dancing as well?
Well, see, I didn't really. That's why it was such a shock to me, because I was homeschooled actually, growing up through beginning of school through high school, and I did some college through the internet. And I wasn't raised to understand bullying, especially from other females. And when I first came out to the public dancing, because I trained in dance a long time before I became professional, mm-hmm. and before I started teaching. And my first actual instance of jealousy and bullying from other females was when I moved to where I currently live in Westminster, Maryland. And I went to a hafla, and that was my first hafla that I wasn't involved in running myself, and it was new for me. Everyone there seemed very nice and accepting, which I thought was great. They would question me about my background, and I guess they didn't believe me. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe because I was so young at the time. And they seemed nice. And then I would go to another event, and then another belly dancer would be there, older belly dancer, that people looked up to in the community. And, she was nice to me and everything, but then I found out that they were, talking behind my back, and then that they were saying things about me, or like she couldn't possibly know this and know that, and, who were her teachers and all this. So just things that weren't really that important, just ask me. That's all you need to do was ask me. I would have told you. And when I went to another event, one of the dancers that was in charge of the event, she actually came up to me in the audience before I performed and said, Yasmin, some of the women at the last hafla, they were kind of like, I guess she was trying to say insulted maybe or something because of my cleavage. I had danced at a previous hafla with them, and a young boy who was there, I guess he was probably like 17, him and his sister were there. He said, can I dance with you? And I said, sure. So I showed them some snake arms and some shoulder shimmies and things. And then they were like, well, we thought it was inappropriate that you were doing like a shoulder shimmy because, your breasts were moving. I'm like, what? That's one of our moves. What do you mean? And so I guess they were saying like, oh, they didn't want me to, like do certain moves because I had a lot of, I'm well endowed. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, okay. So then, the talking behind my back, and then some to the bullying to the point they would go on my YouTube videos and just like them as soon as I would put them up. I found out. Then I was on a belly dance community group, business group, and then I got attacked on virtual bullying attacks, and they were like trying to put down my website, and they were like, well, who are your teachers, and all this and that, and then the one dancer would talk to other dancers, and they wouldn't want me to come to events, and they wouldn't want me to be in their groups on the internet and stuff, and I'm like, what, what's going on? And I've grown a lot since then. And I did lower myself to their level at that time, I would say, because I felt like they were attacking me. So I set a trap, and I told myself, well, this dancer was my teacher, which was impossible because it was like all the way across the country, just so I can get this one dancer to come out and say that she's talking about me. Not behind my back. I prefer if you say it to my face. Be honest with me. And then she did. And then I said, okay, I know who you are now. I know not to communicate with you, and I apologize to the one woman for getting anyone else involved. And I was being an adult, and then, they would never let it go. They're like, well, she lied about her teachers. I've never lied about my teachers on my website or anything else. Why are you so grasped in on that? Just because I have taken the time in my life to study dance, you didn't believe it. Just because you chose one style, that didn't mean I had to choose one style, Yeah. So that whole thing of being bullied and being picked on because of my size, because of my style choices and things of that would make me have my own shows so people who were going through that wouldn't have to anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing about virtual, a lot of people find it easier to bully online because they're hiding. You can't see them face to face. So, and a lot of times I think that because I've had similar experiences in the past. I think part of it is their own insecurity, and the people what I find is that the people that will put you down, usually it's because they have major insecurities of their own because they're not perfect. So they feel that by putting someone else down, that they're better. That it's, and what it really boils down to is immaturity, because even if you have lied, not that I condone lying or in any way, but if I see somebody lying about something, I'm like, well, that's not my problem.
Exactly.
So it's not my issue to go attack that person, right? So yeah, so if anybody here watching this has had the experience of actually, of criticizing somebody, like, this is not an attack on you, just be very mindful that what we say, it can be very, very hurtful. It may not seem like it at the time. You may feel like you're correcting somebody, but it is so hurtful, and it lasts. Those are deep scars. It's no different than emotional abuse. So, and I'm all about creating awareness. So bullying is a form of abuse. And so thank you for bringing this up, for mentioning that you have gone through this experience, and what makes it even sadder is that this happens within the dance community. I think it's unacceptable.
Well, especially since we try to create a sisterhood, a brotherhood, gathering of people to express themselves, and you don't expect that type of thing to happen, and you would hope it doesn't happen, and it's sad when it does happen, and it turns off some people. I've had dancers completely want to leave belly dance altogether because they've had the bullying and the abuse come towards them. Like, okay, you don't dance really good, and when I had my hospice and events, and I would have dancers in the community that are judgmental of other dancers, they would come and they would sit in the audience. And, I'm the person hosting, so I walk around, I watch. And you watch some of these people's faces when dancers get up, and they're beginner dancers, and they're doing their best on that stage, and they took the courage to get up in front of you. And then you're sitting there looking at them like, oh, you're not that great, and doing this smoky face and things like that. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? We're all here to watch people, they're sharing with you, but you feel the need to judge them. I'm like, judge yourself. How about that? You know what I mean? Like, that's very upsetting. And, some people see that and they talk about, oh, this person couldn't afford this outfit, so they're not that great. I'm like, it's not about that. Yeah. And it's sad that they make it about that, at times. So you try to find, people that can, accept you, and then can understand, that's why I had to have my convention and why I do what I do because of those instances.
Well, I'm glad you're doing that. I am really glad you're doing that. I think it's a beautiful way to get people to be accepted. I have a colleague who just recently launched a magazine that is only for plus sizes. And it's so beautiful to see because she's another voice doing something along the lines of what you're doing, like accept, like enough of this, photoshopping stuff. And so, Yasmin, at your convention, do you have vendors as well?
Yes, I do. Actually, we have a space there for the vendors that I call Vendors Haven. This year, we do have some really great vendors there. One of my favorite vendors is Vrd'dhi Import, and she's in Virginia. Ran by Lucy Smith. She's one of my favorite people. She's a very great dancer, classical. She knows a lot from history, and she runs the store. And this woman, like, she takes her whole store in her van, and she goes to every event. And I love her so much. I'm so glad she's a part of it. And she really, you can go to her store and you have everything there. No matter what style you are, you can get everything from her.
Nice.
That outfit every year. She has 3 spaces at the events. That's how much stuff she brings. And we have D-Web actually there this year, which she has a fusion style of costuming. We have Shimmy sister, who specializes in curvy style costuming and clothing. And she actually does stuff on District of Curves, which is all about plus size models and everything now. So we have some pretty good big name vendors, and we have smaller vendors who are coming out too. We actually added on this year, which I'm happy to talk about, the relaxation room, where we have our massage therapist. We have a woman who does organic teas, and then we have my mother who's involved too. She does organic teas because she's organic drinks because she's a raw vegan. So we have everything, a relaxation place for our dancers after they finish their workshops. They can go get a massage. They can get some healthy drinks, to relax, some warm tea. So we integrated that into the event this year. And then we also have the belly dance history lecture. So you have a dinner and you have a panel of about 5 to 6 teachers. We talk about the history. One of my favorite dancers, Anastasi, who recently moved to North Carolina, who's from Virginia. She's a beautiful dancer, and she's very supportive of the event. She has been there from the beginning, and she's on the panel this year, and she's going to be talking about belly dance history from the 1870s until the 1940s. And then we have Lucy Smith on the panel talking about her style of dance and the history from 1920s and on. Then we have Sabeya, who's talking about like the club scenes of belly dance back in the day. I have Pravi Sharp, who's talking about Spanish fusion, because she does Spanish fusion with tango and Latin dances. And then I'll be on the panel talking about tribal fusion to gauze fusion and hip hop fusion. So we're going to go through the entire history in a 2-hour setting. and we have dinner. So we were very happy about that panel. We're going to try to keep that on each year, but we're going to try to add on like a history for ballet, history for modern dance, and different styles like that. So I want to really educate the public about dance and then what it can do for people, you know.
Very nice. It sounds lovely. It really does. It's, I like the massage room too.
Oh, yeah.
So, Yasmin, I see from your application, you're a new mom?
Yes, I am actually. She's only, actually, she turns 11 months. Actually, she turns 11 months today. It's her birthday.
What's her name?
Her name is Sabeya Chiyoko Ravenwood. Wow,
very exotic.
Yes, Sabeya is a derivative of the goddess Freya, and it's Celtic. Her middle name is Japanese because we have that in our blood too, and it means a child of 1,000 generations. And Ravenwood is her last name, which will be my last name soon. And it means a lot of different things. Blessing of God. It's child of God. It's a lot of meanings for Ravenwood. And I wanted her name to mean something because I'm very big on name meanings. That's how I even picked my dance name, Yasaman Vrd'dhi, means flower that rises. Because I've been down and I'll never give up. That's something I want to tell people. Never give up. I've been in very bad situations. Back when I was 12, my father passed away, and my mother, she was with him for a long time, and she fell apart. And it was me and my two brothers, and we're all very close. We all still live together, very close knit family. And I wanted to tell people, don't give up. We were homeless at one point because we lost everything. My father passed away, but we stayed together, and we got out of that situation. And it's not something easy to get out of once you're in. So, and there are a lot of homeless families and people fighting to get to a better life standing. And we did do that. And, I tell people never give up. There's, as long as you have breath to breathe, you can fight and you can have what you want. You can have your dreams. The thing is follow your dreams. Don't let anyone tell you that, your dream's not good enough to be something. You should get up every day and do what you love. That's how you know you're doing what you want, because you can go to a 9-to-5 job, true. You can keep doing that. And some people want to do that. But if you have a dream and it's something you really want to do, you should follow it and do it. And I want to definitely teach my daughter to do that. So, yes, I'm a new mommy, and it's a fun experience.
I'm glad you said all that, because a lot of people give up when the tough, when it gets really tough. Sometimes they just throw their hands up and they just don't know what to do, right? And so, if I may ask, because I've done conferences myself, like I've put conferences together, so I know what I do. But I want to ask you, because I want to hear you share your wisdom and your experience from your personal experience. What would you say to someone who has this big dream of wanting to do something big, but they feel that I don't know how, and I'm scared, it's too risky, don't have the money, whatever, all these mental obstacles that we create? What would you say to them?
I would say you have to go for it. You have to be smart about it, true, especially if you have other people in your life that you're taking care of, because I completely understand that. You have responsibilities. All those things are integrated into your thought process, but they also can stop you because you're thinking of, I have to be realistic. Mm-hmm. The thing is imagination. Never forget imagination. When we're children, we imagine so easily. We pick up that doll and make them move. We make voices. We go into that little playhouse and we pretend we're doing this and that. Adults, we forget to imagine. That's the problem, why our dreams may not come true. You have to say, you have to believe, use words, use your thoughts. You have to imagine. That's my biggest advice for people. Imagine that car you want. Imagine those millions you want. Imagine that dance studio you want to open. Imagine that store you want to open. Imagine that convention you want to have. Imagine if you want to be the president of the United States. Imagine that you're there. It's nothing but play acting. imagine these things, because if you imagine it, it makes them happen. And if you believe in yourself, you need to be your biggest cheerleader. It's so great when you have a good back system of people believing in you. But if you don't believe in you, how do you expect others to believe in you? So imagination is definitely my biggest advice for people, because as adults, we do forget to imagine, because we think I'm all grown up, I don't need to do that anymore. But believe me, if you believe and imagine, a lot of great things will happen.
It makes it easier, like you said. Like if you have this idea, a lot of people do have these dreams. They imagine and they vision it, but then they do nothing. And then nothing happens, because it's not going to fall in your lap unless you do something about it, right?
You need to get out there and understand, because even like my mother, she wants to be a motivated speaker, and the woman can talk, let me tell you. And she has the background to do it and the voice to do it. And she says she has to force herself. She has to make herself move to go for it. She's studying and reading all this information, and she's about to actually get out there and do it. And that's another thing, is she imagined that she can do it, and she started getting information. Whatever it is that you want to do, reading is fundamental. So it's very important. Whatever it is you want to do, read into it. It's nothing wrong with research. That's why the internet was created. It's not just for us to take selfies and post them.
Oh, you mean it's not?
But the internet is knowledge at your fingertips. Use it. Whatever it is you're interested in, find out that market. Don't limit yourself is another thing. Don't limit yourself. And people also limit themselves. Like people who want to start their own business, and then they go like, well, I shouldn't charge this amount because then people won't want the service. I'm like, look, you're worth what you're worth. When that artist gets that painting and he wants to charge $5 for it because he don't think anyone will know who he is, no, charge $1,000 for your art, because no one else can do what you did. Think about everything as art. It helps, believe me, it does. Because if you're creating something from you, why do you think it has to have a low price tag on it or whatever, low meaning, low use? It doesn't, because you're really selling yourself to others, to the public, to people to see. So you're worth everything you think you're worth. And if you don't think you're worth much, then that means that you're not worth much, because you don't believe you are. You need to believe in you. That's what you need to just go.
The value is the value you create, right? You attach to that.
They think they're not worth much, and that stops them. And I'm a person, I can say this because I've done it. And the thing is, people may not know about me. I'm a writer. I've been writing since I was a little girl, stories and everything. I written poetry. My poetry's been published. I even had the chance recently to read one of my poems I wrote for a band at a local event, Karma Fest, that I go to every year. This band called Moon Water Rising. They're really great, and the lead singer has a beautiful voice. And she put a post up that she's looking for someone to do a poetry reading. And I said, well, I could do that. So we got together, and I wrote a poem about the divine femininity. I wrote a poem about that just from listening to her background music. And I wrote a whole poem, and I've been writing poetry since I was little, and stories. And that's my thing. I have never gotten my work published as far as my fiction story. My poetry has been, but I'm stopping me. I'm the one stopping me. No one else is stopping me. At any point, I can take those stories and I can get them published. But it's like fear stops you. And you can't let fear stop you believing in yourself. And I have my family, they completely believe in me, and your writing's amazing, but I'm stopping. So if you see Yasmin or Jeanette Tillery name on a book, then you know I finally did it.
Yay! Well, I want to see it.
I even am writing a book about my life as a belly dancer. So that may be a non-fictional book that will be coming out in the next few years.
That would be wonderful to see, because you mentioned it's something you've done all the time. It's within you. It's another gift you have. It's another gift of expression, right?
Yes, I do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yasmin, it's been absolutely lovely talking to you. And typically, I've done all the other ones a lot shorter than this one, but I just find you totally fascinating, and you have so much wisdom. I think your daughter is very lucky to have you as a mom, and I think your community is lucky to have you as well for what you're doing. Now, you are also teaching, so if people want to come take lessons from you,
Yeah.
where do they look you up?
Currently, I teach at the Commonfest Trading Post, which is located in Hampstead, Maryland, which is in Carroll County. Actually, you can find all the information about me teaching on my personal website, which is Yasaman Mad Fusion. I actually call it Mad Fusion because that's my name of my dance style. It's abbreviated for Modern Art Dark Fusion. So you can go to www.yasminmadfusion and find out about all my teaching locations. I'm currently looking for a teaching location in Hunt Valley, Maryland. But I also teach online. I Skype and teach, so I can teach around the world. I teach in various styles. I do teach my personal style that I've fused together, and I also teach tribal fusion as well. And I teach the basics for classical dance as well. So, yeah, I love teaching because it's so amazing when you get to teach someone who doesn't know anything about belly dance, and then you get to see them, they get all happy when they learn to do a move. Yeah. One of my favorite things to teach is fan veil, because once people learn to open them, they get so excited. I know when I first learned to open, I got up here and I couldn't open them, and I was so upset with myself. And then after a few weeks, I thought, oh my God, I opened the fan veil.
So what's the website for the convention if people want to come, if they want to find out more about that?
Again, the convention is www.dangerouscurvesconvention.com.
Okay, so we're going to have the links here at the end of the video. So people watching, make sure you stay till the end, and you get the addresses, the URLs there, so you can look them up. Yasmin, it's been absolutely wonderful meeting you and getting to know you and hearing your story and all that you're up to. So happy to have you here as a guest.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're going to go to tap for now, and hopefully I'll meet you soon.
Yep, see you soon.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for watching the Shimmy Mob video spotlight series. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a comment below. And if you would like to be featured in the future, send us an email at shimmymob@gmail.com.